All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is January 12th, 2023. If you listen to the sound of my voice, that means you were blessed to see another day, and for that, all praise, honor, and glory is due to the Most High God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for now and forever. All right, welcome to all my new subscribers and older alike. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell and select all. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. I want to thank you all for your continued support, the engaging comments. The shorts are really doing well, but for some reason, my regular presentations aren't benefiting from all the traffic and the views that I'm getting from my shorts. So I've been kind of speaking with YouTube about that to kind of see if we can rectify that. You know, and because I mean that would really help a lot if a lot of the views and traffic I'm getting from the shorts could kind of transfer over. But either way, we're gonna keep it moving. I try to engage as much as I can. If you feel like posting something, post it, and if I see it and it catches my attention, I'll respond. But please understand that I do not and will not respond to every single comment. I mean, because I just can, and then sometimes I just don't want to. If it doesn't interest me in any kind of way, I'll just kind of leave it there. But I will not delete it. Okay, I don't delete comments. So yeah, it's January 12th, 2 days before my birthday. God willing, and I don't see why he wouldn't be. In 2 days from now, and I'll be 55 years old. And for those of you who want to gift a brother for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Cash App is in the description box as it always is. And I appreciate it if you do, and even if you don't, I appreciate the thought. Um, so that's that. What I want to talk about though today is it's really kind of it's two, maybe even threefold. I don't know if many of you have ever heard of Cointelpro. Cointelpro was something that was implemented back in the '60s when the whole civil rights movement was going on. With the Black Panthers and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam. Things like that. And essentially, or what they would do with Cointelpro is there was something that was generated from the federal side of things. FBI was behind it. Basically, they would try to either infiltrate different black groups, try to create distrust, create dissension, and they would use various methods to do that. They would literally try to, get other blacks or recruit other blacks to try to infiltrate the organization and report back to them. That went on a lot. They would like send fake letters to the news. They definitely utilized the media. Um, you know, making false claims and putting a black organization's name on it against another one. Stuff like that, man. It's like they really worked overtime to try to keep any black organizations from really becoming strong or becoming, united, if you will. But I tell you, man, our people, man, I've always said we are very easy to get at, okay, because we're too predictable. The unfortunate thing is that, from thousands of years of being brainwashed and taught something, we do certain things. I mean, if you really want to make a splash against a whole bunch of black people, do it on Sunday. Why? Because they know that a lot of black people on Sundays is at church. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like really, like we, just from the perspective of, and I've said I've mentioned this term before, Stockholm syndrome. Essentially you've been brainwashed something for so long, you've been fed propaganda for so long, you start to empathize with your captors or your oppressors, and you start to and you can't even start to believe what they're saying, because that's the whole purpose of brainwashing. That's the whole purpose of propaganda, to get you to change your views, right? And so and what sparked this idea, why I'm talking about this today, is because, I mean, if you look at it, man, like there's no strong, prominent black leader that we have today, or black voice, right? I mean, really, I mean, you'd have to look at what, like Jesse Jackson. I mean, come on. Even Al Sharpton, he's kind of, I won't say he with them people now, but I mean, he's not really on the front lines anymore like that or whatever. I mean, you look at the brother minister, Farrakhan, of course, he's still going to do him, but, he was kind of neutralized a long time ago. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that too, because this is what they do. Anytime you get a strong brother to stand up, or even a strong sister, what they do is they go on this campaign. They label you things, right? They feed stuff to the media. The media reports stuff that they don't care if it's true or not. They try to put titles on you. Oh, they're anti-Semitic or they're a hate group. I mean, last I checked, man, the first terrorist organization, domestic terrorists in this country was the KKK. And they never got half the vitriol as black organizations. The minute someone black and strong and powerful tries to stand up for our people, man, they go through this smear campaign, and they get other blacks to pile on, or other so-called entertainers or whoever to kind of rise up and go against it. I mean, and it's just really, and it's like, I'm as I'm speaking about this, I'm reminded of scripture, man. The curses in the book of Deuteronomy said, man, listen, you're going to be sold to bondmen and bondwomen, yada, yada, yada. No man shall save you. You understand? Because, the Willie Lynch thing is very real, man. Divide and conquer. We are so divided. I mean, and I got to thinking about that. Why don't we have any prominent, I mean, you look on TV, there's no prominent black men on TV anywhere. I mean, there's a bunch of gay black men. I'll say that. They're real comfortable with that. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. I'm not messing my words. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody. I'm just keeping it 100. I've been on this earth long enough. I'm gonna say what it is, man. There's no strong black voices, no strong black men nowhere on TV. And it's not by chance. That's by design. That's by design. You understand? Why is it in 2023 we still having the first black anything in this country? Are you kidding me? As I get closer to my 55th birthday, man, I sit back and I reflect, like, man, there ain't too many brothers in my position, where I'm in a unique position to speak on a lot of things that I speak on because of my journey. I'm ex-military. I put my life on the line for a country that never put their life on the line for me, man. Real talk. I mean, real talk. Going over there in the Middle East, fooling with them folk and putting my life on the line for a country that never put their life on the line for me, man. Just keeping it real. We got to go above and beyond to try to have something. We scraping and scrounging. You know, like the theme from Good Times. Keeping your head above water, making a wave when you can. Nigga, temporary layout. You know what I'm saying? Man, I used to feel that. Right now, I feel that. Good times, man. That's us, man. We went through that, man. Stressing and surviving. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen. 2023, we still struggling, stressing, surviving. You know what I'm saying? Really, man, it's just, it don't stop. And I'm like, you know, where's our voice? We still pretty much voices. Black people got all this money. Oprah, billionaire, means absolutely nothing for us. Nothing. She don't speak for us. Michael Jordan, billionaire. That's a joke. The greatest basketball player of all time. As a black man, stop playing. He don't speak for us. Nothing. I listen. I could theoretically, I could speak on this probably endlessly. Y'all know what I'm saying? I just started thinking about this, man, and really, we don't have a voice. You know, um, like I said, anytime someone starts speaking truth to power, they go above and beyond to try to neutralize them, label them. Oh, you one of those black Hebrew Israelites? No, I ain't no black Hebrew Israelite. I'm an Israelite. All Israelites are black, man. Miss me with the black Hebrew Israelites. Miss me. But see, they do that because it's to label you. Once they label you as something in this country, man, then it becomes okay to whatever happens to you. Like, then no one cares what happens to you. Once they label you as a hate group or as a this group or that group or whatever, that's how they neutralize you. Now all of a sudden we're boxed in, right? And the bad thing about that is that because when we're boxed in, we're basically we're preaching to the choir. We don't need to preach to the choir. We need to reach a lot of our brothers and sisters who have no idea, they don't have a clue, right? But we can't reach them, though, because our speech is suppressed. You understand? Now they got the media. The media is always what it is, and now they got social media. Same thing, different platform, same suppression of speech though. The minute you start to really trying to stand up and stand strong and really say something to your people, they go about trying to neutralize you, trying to silence you one way or another. Then it can become a thing where now, okay, you got all these blacks with all this money, man. What does it mean for us? What? I mean, you mean to tell me we got more wealth as black people than we ever have, and there's never been another Black Wall Street? Why? You have to ask yourself, why? Why has there never been a Black Wall Street when blacks have more wealth now than we ever have in this country? First of all, it starts with mentality. Listen, I could speak on this forever, man. I really could, right? But let me kind of veer back to the whole COINTELPRO thing, because basically it still goes on. It's just different. It's just a different style now. They still do the same old trick. They still do it, right? Like you start naming black folks, man. I mean, who try to stand up. It's like where are they at? What are they doing now? Where are they? Right? Y'all remember Sister Soldier? That sister was all right, man. That sister was. Y'all remember her? I always wonder what happened to her. Right? I mean, it's like, and then the so-called intellectual brothers, and I don't want to get the name calling, man, but I mean, it's like, they try to burn the candle at both ends. They walk that fine line. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this whole COINTELPRO thing and how it affects us right now to this day. And I personally believe that COINTELPRO, or the things normally attached to that, is one of the many reasons why we don't have any prominent black voices right now today. There's no real black leaders anywhere. I mean, and look at so-called church is a joke. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Listen, let me go ahead and let's get into this whole COINTELPRO thing, and how it affects us now today as a people. All right, let's get it. A lot of things they do today it's an old playbook, man. It ain't nothing new under the sun. And the Bible tells us that. They still doing the same thing today. It's just dressed up differently. COINTELPRO was it's abbreviation for Counterintelligence Program, and supposedly it was started in 1956 and ended in 1971, quote unquote. They said it was a series of covert and illegal projects actively conducted by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI, aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting domestic American political organizations. Well, let's be a little bit more specific. More so, infiltrating, surveilling, discrediting, and disrupting domestic Black American organizations. Let's keep it 100. It says FBI records show that COINTELPRO resources targeted groups and individuals the FBI deemed subversive, including feminist organizations, the Communist Party USA, anti-Vietnam War organizers, activists of the civil rights and Black Power movements, e.g. Martin Luther King Jr., the Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party, etc., environmentalist and animal rights organizations, the American Indian Movement, Chicano and Mexican American groups like the Brown Berets, and the United Farm Workers independence movements, including Puerto Rican independence groups such as the Young Lords, right, and the Puerto Rican Socialist Party, a variety of organizations that were part of the broader New Left and white supremacist groups such as the Ku Klux Klan and the far-right group National States Rights Party. In 1971 in San Diego, the FBI financed, armed, and controlled an extreme right-wing group of former members of the Minutemen, anti-communist paramilitary organization, transforming it into a group called the Secret Army Organization that targeted groups, activists, and leaders involved in the anti-war movement using both intimidation and violent acts. The FBI has used covert operations against domestic political groups since its inception. However, covert operations under the official Cointelpro label took place between 1956 and 1971. Many of the tactics used in Cointelpro are alleged to have been continued use, including discrediting targets through psychological warfare, smearing individuals and groups using forged documents, and by planting false reports in the media, harassment, wrongful imprisonment, illegal violence, and assassination. According to a Senate report, the FBI's motivation was, quote, protecting national security, preventing violence, and maintaining the existing social and political order, end quote. Beginning in 1969, leaders of the Black Panther Party were targeted by the Cointelpro and neutralized by being assassinated, imprisoned, publicly humiliated, or falsely charged with crimes. Some of the Black Panthers targeted include Fred Hampton, who they murdered, cold blood. The police assassinated that brother, man, straight up. Mark Clark, Zaid Shakur, Geronimo Pratt, Mumia Abu Jamal, and Marshall Conway. Common tactics by Cointelpro were perjury, witness harassment, witness intimidation, and withholding of exculpatory evidence. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover issued directives governing Cointelpro, ordering FBI agents to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or otherwise neutralize the activities of these movements, and especially their leaders. Under Hoover, the agent in charge of Cointelpro was William C. Sullivan. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy personally authorized some of the programs, giving written approval for limited wiretapping of Martin Luther King Jr.'s phones on a trial basis for a month or so. Hoover extended the clearance so his men were unshackled to look for evidence in any area of King's life they deemed worthy. So what I just read was basically telling you the government was eavesdropping on their citizens. That's what they were doing. That is just so illegal, man. So illegal. The intended effects of this whole Cointelpro thing, and I have to just say this real quick, man. For all of their rhetoric about black organizations being quote unquote violent or hate groups, none of those groups ever bombed the church. None of those black groups ever lynched anyone. None of those black groups ever terrorized anyone by burning stuff on their lawn. None of that. But yet, for all their rhetoric, these black groups, the one they had to neutralize. Not the KKK, who still exists today, by the way, but they had to neutralize all these black organizations. Anyway, I digress. The intended effect of the FBI's Cointelpro was, quote, to expose, disrupt, misdirect, and otherwise neutralize groups that the FBI officials believed were subversive, right? By instructing, and they did this by instructing FBI field operatives to, one, create a negative public image for target groups. For example, through surveilling activists and then releasing negative personal information to the public. See, that sways public opinion about you, right? See, they're building a narrative about the individual from the group, right? Boom. Number two, break down internal organization by creating conflicts. For example, by having agents exacerbate racial tensions or send anonymous letters to try and create conflicts and discord and discord and contention within the group, within the organization. Create dissension between the groups. For example, spreading rumors that the other groups were stealing money. Restrict access to public resources. For example, we're pressuring nonprofit organizations to cut off funding or material support. And restrict the ability to organize protests. For example, through agents promoting violence against police during planning and at protests. And then finally, restrict the ability of individuals to participate in group activities. For example, character assassinations, false arrests, surveillance, right? See, this was all a narrative, right? This is what they were doing, man. This stuff still goes on today. It just doesn't have the name over it. It still goes on today. How best to neutralize a leader, make them look a certain way. They use drugs to infiltrate and bring down a lot of our black leaders. You know, it was sad, man. Huey P. Newton, man. I mean, he ended up being a drug addict, crackhead, basically, right? Like that whole. And I don't want to veer off and go on a tangent. But you know, that whole crack epidemic, man, that was deliberate. Okay, that was deliberate. Where it was put was deliberate. There was a book called oh gosh, what's the name of the book? If I wasn't talking about it, I would know it. Um, hold on one second. Yeah, the name of the book was called Dark Alliance by Gary Webb, and he uncovered and broke the story about how the CIA was involved with planning you know, drugs inside of LA and this and that to fund the Iran Contra war, this and that. And anyway, that's what Freeway Rick was involved in that story. And so they say that he eventually committed suicide. That's the official thing, but people think that it wasn't suicide. But anyway, you know, stuff like that, man. You know, and what they do is they create uh distrust and dissension. They want to sway public opinion, and I mean, of course, they use the media for that. Of course, now it's so much easier now with the internet. I mean, you can spread false information a lot quicker now than they did back in the 60s and 70s or whatever. And that's all it is. The speed of the disinformation has increased tenfold, right? The disinformation is just disinformation, false accusations. You know, you wanna paint someone a certain way. You know, put out a story about them. You know, say, oh yeah, they had an extramarital affair. Someone's claiming that they, you know, fathered a child by them, or just, you know, just anything, man. And it doesn't even matter if it's true or not, because once they put it out there to the public, guess what? Y'all already know what it is. You're going to be tried in the court of public opinion. And if you look like me and you, man, it's not going to be favorable anyway. We don't have a chance. I mean, one thing I will give Barack Obama, man. I mean, he walked the straight and narrow. You know, in terms of, you know, there was never any scandals with him. You know, he didn't give them nothing to try to. I mean, trust me, they tried. You know, they did the whole birth thing and all that. But I mean, he shook that off. You know, he wasn't born here, and he was born in Kenya and all this old foolishness. You know, but I mean, he kept it straight and narrow, and I think Michelle had a lot to do with that, keeping. I mean, he just, you know, there wasn't no scandals with him. You know, and I think he knew he had to be that. But anyway, you know, that was the whole intent behind, you know, the Cointelpro is to create dissension within black organizations, black groups, to keep us what? Divided. I mean, black folks, we don't, I mean, not that we need anything to keep us divided. We divided enough as it is. We don't need nothing extra. Please believe we don't. But this is why we don't have any real prominent black leaders now, any prominent black voices, man. None. Not a single one. Not a single one. You know, Farrakhan can't speak for us, even though I admire the brother minister. But he was, like I said, he was neutralized a long time ago. You understand? You know, and then once you put the religion into it, I mean, there you go. Black folk, you know, we can't even we don't agree on anything. There's a percentage of us who think that we're Muslims. There's a percentage of us that think that we're Moors. There's a percentage of us that think that we're indigenous Americans. There's a percentage of us who think that uh, you know, we're Israelites. We know that's where the truth lies. There's a percentage of us that really think we're Muslims. Like all these different things, man. Black folks. I mean, so I mean, again, it's not hard to keep us divided because we're already a divided people. We already don't agree. We already don't trust one another. We already, you know, the minute one of us steps up to try to speak truth to power, and they try to tear him down, start questioning his background, questioning his education, like they do the brother Dr. Umar. I don't agree with everything that he said, but I agree with probably about 85 to 90% of what Dr. Umar says. I agree with. You understand? You know, I don't agree with Pan Africanism. I don't. We're not African, man. I mean, let's keep it 100. We're not. And I shared that video clip of that African brother saying that they're not our brothers. They were born in America. They've been over there for over 300 or 400 years. They're not African. They're Americans. I mean, which is true. I mean, I can't even be mad at that because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have no sovereign land. We are not sovereign. We are Americans living and having to abide by American laws. That's the harsh reality. That's what we're faced with. That's what it is. You understand? Until the Most High gathers us back up, man, this is what it is, man. You know, but you know, that's what sparked the thought, and I think it still goes on today. Cointelpro pitting us against one another, putting out false reports, putting out this and that, just trying to neutralize the voice. They don't care. They'll attack whatever. They'll attack your kids. They'll try to attack your background, attack your education, attack whatever. They try to whatever they can use to make you or make our black men, especially our black strong men, look a certain way. They're gonna do that. Oh, he's anti-Semitic. He's a hate, this and that, whatever. And it don't be nothing like that. But once they put that out there to them, in every media and every news place is reporting that, that's what people are going to think. Right, wrong, indifference, man. These are the things that we fight against, man. And that's what sparked this whole. That's what sparked this lesson today. I'm really speaking from the heart because I'm to the normally every birthday I have, I do some deep reflection. And I just started thinking about that. Maybe we don't have no voice, man. Ain't no strong black voices of black men on TV. Nowhere. I mean, you would think that. I mean, we damn near extinct from this country, man. Like, where we at? Like I said, there's a bunch of gay black men on TV, no doubt. They got a whole bunch of sissies on TV. I mean, for real. But strong black men? Oh no, wait a minute. But if we strong, we got to be toxic though. Why? We got to be as toxic masculinity when we strong. There ain't no such thing as toxic masculinity, man. That's a talking point again from that fake behind feminist movement, man. It was started by gay women. Let's keep it 100. Keep it all the way funky. You understand? They want to neutralize men. They wasn't fighting for women's rights. They was fighting to be men. Okay, let's keep it 100, man. Anyways, man, like I said, I could speak on this forever. You understand? But I feel like, where we at now as the people, man, COINTELPRO still goes on. It does. It's just that the name might have went away, but the results, everything that goes into what that is, it still happens right now to this day. Right now to this day. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, man. Hope y'all got something from it. Was inspired in some way or whatever. But y'all know how I do, man. Until next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying shalom.